Hello, welcome to the Breaking Barriers, Inspiring Stories channel. Subscribe to the channel to always follow our stories. Attention, this is a fictional story. The events of the story did not really happen. It is just a fantasy about overcoming. Anna's hands were rough from years of cleaning, scrubbing floors and wiping down desks that belonged to people who never noticed her. She was used to moving quietly, a shadow in the vast, shiny office building where she worked. Every day, she arrived before dawn, when the corridors were still silent, and left long after the last employee had clocked out. At home, things were no less exhausting. Anna lived in a small two-bedroom apartment with her two children, Lucas, who was 12, and Marina, who had just turned 8. They were the reason she pushed herself every day. No matter how tired she felt, how sore her feet were from standing all day, Anna knew she had to keep going. There was no other choice. But that didn't stop her from dreaming. She would often catch herself looking around the office, wondering what it would be like to sit behind one of those big desks, running meetings, making decisions that actually mattered. The walls of the office were covered with posters and motivational quotes. Dream big. Success is a journey, not a destination. Things like that. Anna would smile at the irony. It was easy to dream big when you didn't have to clean up after everyone else. Anna had come to the city over a decade ago, leaving behind a small town where opportunities were scarce. She had been full of hope back then, thinking she would find a better life for herself and her children. But the reality was harsher than she had imagined. Finding a job as a cleaner had been the best she could do with her limited education, and the dream of a better life had started to fade into the background, replaced by the daily grind. Still, every now and then, when she walked past the open doors of the boardrooms or saw the executives in their expensive suits, Anna allowed herself to wonder, what if things had been different? What if she had been given the same chances as them? Those thoughts would usually come in the early hours of the morning, when she sat by the window of the small break room, sipping her coffee before starting her shift. The office was quiet at that time, the hum of the lights the only sound. It was her moment of peace, before the hustle and bustle of the day began. And it was in those moments that Anna felt the weight of her unspoken ambitions the most. Her children were her biggest motivation. Lucas, in particular, was always curious about her job. He would ask her what the office was like, what the people did there. "One day, Mom, you're going to work in one of those offices, right?" he would say, eyes wide with the innocent confidence of a child who still believed anything was possible. Anna would smile and nod, even though deep down, she wasn't sure if it was true. But the thought stayed with her. The possibility. Anna wasn't uneducated. She had finished high school but never had the chance to go to college. Instead, she had educated herself in other ways. Late at night, when the kids were asleep, she would sit at the kitchen table and read books she had borrowed from the library, or watch online tutorials about business management, anything she could get her hands on. She didn't know why she was doing it. Exactly. Maybe to keep that tiny flicker of hope alive. Maybe because, even though her life had been full of closed doors, she still believed one might open for her if she was ready. The problem was, no one saw her potential. To most people in the office, Anna was just a cleaning lady. People barely noticed her presence, and when they did, it was usually to complain. She had learned early on that in their eyes, she was invisible. But Anna knew she was more than her uniform. She just needed a chance to prove it. One day, as Anna was cleaning the glass doors of the main conference room, she overheard a conversation between two managers. They were discussing a new role that had opened up in the administrative team. Anna's heart raced. It was the first time she had ever heard of an opportunity within the company that seemed like it could be within her reach. But just as quickly as the excitement came, doubt flooded in. Who was she kidding? The chances of someone like her, someone who had never even worked in an office, getting a job like that were slim to none. Still, she couldn't shake the thought. For the first time in a long time, she felt something stir inside her. As she walked down the hall that day, heading towards the janitor's closet, her mind was already racing. Maybe, just maybe, this was the chance she had been waiting for. At home that night, Anna couldn't shake the thought of that job opening. It played over and over in her head as she made dinner for Lucas and Marina. What if she applied? What if they actually considered her? She knew it was a long shot, but for the first time in years, it felt like something was within reach. As the kids finished their homework, Anna sat at the small kitchen table with her laptop, the glow of the screen reflecting in her tired eyes. She searched for any information she could find about administrative assistant roles, what qualifications were required, what the day-to-day responsibilities were. She knew it was a far cry from what she did now, but it wasn't completely foreign to her. After all, she had been in that office for years, silently observing everything that went on around her. She knew how the company operated, and she was no stranger to hard work. Anna had always been curious. Even as a child, growing up in a small rural town, she had wanted more than what life had given her. She remembered the way her teachers used to tell her she was smart, that she could do anything she set her mind to. But life had a way of steering her in different directions, and before she knew it, she was a single mother, doing whatever she could to keep food on the table. Her dreams had been pushed aside, buried beneath layers of responsibility and survival. But now, for the first time in years, those dreams were resurfacing. As she sat there, reading about office administration, Anna realized she wasn't just doing this for her kids. She was doing it for herself. She deserved more than a life spent cleaning up after others. She wanted to create a better future for her children. Yes, but she also wanted to prove to herself that she could do it. The next morning, Anna arrived at the office as usual, but something felt different. She walked past the receptionist's desk, noticing the way the office staff seemed so relaxed, chatting over their coffee as they prepared for their day. Anna had always admired how easy they made it look, how natural they seemed in their roles. She wondered if she could fit into that world, if she could learn to belong. During her break, Anna found herself gravitating towards Sophia, the HR manager she had gotten to know over the years. Sophia had always been kind to Anna, treating her with a respect that most people in the office didn't bother to show. They had chatted in passing several times, and Anna knew Sophia was different from the others. Gathering her courage, Anna approached Sophia. "Can I ask you something?" she began, hesitating slightly. "Of course, Anna. What's on your mind?" Sophia replied, her tone warm and inviting. Anna took a deep breath. "I heard there's an opening for an administrative assistant. I know I don't have much experience, but I've been thinking about applying. Do you think I'd even stand a chance?" Sophia smiled, and for a moment, Anna felt a glimmer of hope. "You know, Anna, you've always struck me as someone who's hard-working and capable. It's not just about experience. It's about willingness to learn, and from what I've seen, you've got that in spades." Anna's heart lifted. Could it really be possible? Sophia's words gave her the nudge she needed. Maybe, just maybe, this wasn't such a far-fetched idea after all. Sophia continued, "You should go for it. Don't let fear stop you. If you're interested, I'd be happy to help you prepare." Anna felt a warmth spread through her chest. For the first time, someone in the office believed in her, truly believed. "Thank you, Sophia," Anna said, her voice barely above a whisper. "That means more than you know." As she left Sophia's office, Anna felt a new sense of purpose. She wasn't just a cleaning lady. She was someone who had the potential to do more, to be more. And now, with someone in her corner, the idea didn't seem so impossible anymore. Anna spent the next few days mulling over Sophia's words. The idea of applying for the administrative assistant position filled her with equal parts excitement and fear. Could she really do this? Was she even qualified? Every time she thought about the possibility, doubts crept in, whispering that it was too much, that she didn't belong in a position like that. But then she thought of her children. Lucas and Marina deserved to see their mother reach for more. They deserved to see that it was possible to break out of the box society tried to keep them in. She didn't want her children to think their lives were limited by where they started. And if she was ever going to show them that, she had to take a chance. One afternoon, after finishing her rounds, Anna found herself standing in front of a computer in the break room. She stared at the company's internal job portal. The listing for the administrative assistant job opened on the screen. Her finger hovered over the apply button, heart pounding in her chest. For a few long moments, she was frozen in indecision. Then, almost without thinking, she clicked the button. A rush of adrenaline coursed through her. It was done. She had applied. Now, all she could do was wait and hope that someone would take her seriously. Over the next week, Anna tried not to think too much about it. She went about her job as usual, though her mind often drifted to thoughts of what might happen next. Would anyone even consider her application? Or would it be dismissed as soon as they saw her name and recognized her as just a cleaning lady? A few days later, as Anna was wiping down desks in one of the offices, her phone buzzed in her pocket. She pulled it out, heart skipping a beat, when she saw an email notification from HR. Her fingers trembled as she opened the message. It was from Sophia. Anna, the email began. We've reviewed your application, and we'd like to invite you for an interview for the administrative assistant position. Anna's breath caught in her throat. An interview. They were giving her a chance. For a moment, she couldn't believe it. But there it was, in black and white. Her opportunity to prove herself was just days away. She quickly texted Sophia to thank her and confirm the interview time. Then, she called her mother. Mom, Anna said, her voice trembling with excitement. I got an interview for the office job. Her mother's voice on the other end was warm and proud. I always knew you had it in you, Anna. Go in there and show them who you are. The days leading up to the interview were a whirlwind of preparation. True to her word, Sophia helped Anna get ready, walking her through common interview questions and offering tips on how to present herself. Anna practiced in front of the mirror at home, standing tall and speaking with confidence, even though her heart raced every time she thought about the actual interview. Finally, the day arrived. Anna walked into the HR office, dressed in the best clothes she owned, simple but neat, and tried to ignore the butterflies in her stomach. Sophia greeted her with a reassuring smile and led her into the conference room where the interview panel was waiting. As Anna sat down, she could feel the weight of the moment. This was her chance. She had prepared as much as she could, but now it was time to put everything into practice. The panel asked her about her experience, her knowledge of the company, and why she wanted to transition into an administrative role. Anna spoke from the heart. She talked about her years of dedication to the company, how she had seen the inner workings of the office every day as she cleaned, and how she had spent years quietly learning and educating herself in her free time. By the time the interview was over, Anna felt drained but proud. She had given it everything she had. Now, all she could do was wait. 2 weeks had passed since the interview, and Anna tried to keep herself busy, doing her usual cleaning rounds to distract from the anxiety gnawing at her. She hadn't heard back yet, and the longer she waited, the more her confidence wavered. Every time her phone buzzed or an email notification popped up, her heart would race, only to sink again when it wasn't the news she was hoping for. Then, one afternoon, as Anna was cleaning the large windows overlooking the city, her phone rang. It was Sophia. Anna, I have good news, Sophia said with a smile in her voice. You got the job. For a moment, Anna couldn't speak. It was as if the world around her paused. I got it, she whispered, her voice shaky with disbelief. You did, Sophia confirmed. I knew you could do it. Anna felt tears welling up in her eyes. She had done it. The impossible had happened. She wasn't just a cleaning lady anymore. She was going to be part of the administrative team. She thanked Sophia profusely, feeling a wave of emotions wash over her. Relief, joy, and an underlying current of fear. Because now that she had the job, the real challenge was about to begin. On her first day as an administrative assistant, Anna arrived at the office feeling more nervous than she had ever been. The uniform she had worn for years was replaced by professional attire, but she still felt out of place. The office looked different now. Larger, more intimidating, and filled with faces that were no longer just passing strangers, but now her colleagues. The first few weeks were overwhelming. There was so much to learn, new software, filing systems, and the endless stream of emails and meetings. Anna worked longer hours than she ever had as a cleaner, staying late into the evening to make sure she understood everything and wasn't falling behind. She took notes obsessively, spent her breaks studying manuals, and tried her best to stay on top of every task that came her way. But it wasn't easy. Some of her new co-workers weren't welcoming. There were side glances and whispered conversations when they thought she couldn't hear. Anna had spent years in the shadows, observing people when they didn't know they were being watched, and she could tell when they were talking about her. It hurt more than she liked to admit. One morning, as Anna sat at her desk, trying to navigate the calendar for a particularly demanding executive, she overheard two employees in the break room. Can you believe they hired her? She was a cleaning lady just a month ago. One of them said, her voice dripping with disbelief. I know. It's ridiculous. What does she even know about working in an office? The other replied. Anna's hands trembled as she continued typing, pretending not to hear. Their words stung, but more than that, they confirmed her biggest fear. That no matter how hard she worked, people still saw her as nothing more than the woman who used to scrub their floors. It was a feeling she had battled her entire life, and it was exhausting. That evening, Anna went home feeling defeated. Lucas noticed the look on her face right away. Mom, what's wrong? He asked, concern in his eyes. She sighed, sitting down at the kitchen table. It's hard, Lucas. People at work, they don't think I belong there. They don't think I'm good enough. Lucas frowned. That's not true. You worked hard for this. You deserve it, Mom. His words were simple, but they gave Anna the strength she needed. He was right. She had worked hard for this. She had earned her place. Letting other people's doubts get in her way would only prove them right. The next day, Anna walked into the office with a renewed sense of purpose. She ignored the whispers and focused on her work. She reminded herself that Sophia had believed in her, and most importantly, she believed in herself. Over the next few weeks, Anna's confidence grew. She asked questions when she didn't understand something and took the time to learn everything she could about her new role. Slowly but surely, she started to feel more comfortable in her position. The tasks that had once seemed overwhelming began to feel more manageable. She even started contributing ideas during team meetings, something she had never imagined herself doing. One afternoon, during a particularly busy day, Anna solved a scheduling conflict that had been causing issues for days. The executive she was assisting, Mr. Blake, looked at her with genuine surprise. Well done, Anna. I didn't expect that to be resolved so quickly, he said, his tone almost impressed. Anna smiled, feeling a flicker of pride. She was proving herself one task at a time. And while not everyone in the office was warming up to her, she could tell that some of her colleagues were starting to see her in a different light. By the end of her first month, Anna had found her rhythm. The initial doubts were still there, lurking in the background, but they no longer consumed her. She was part of the team now, and she was determined to succeed. No matter how many challenges lay ahead, Anna knew she was capable of handling them. She had come too far to turn back now. As the months passed, Anna's place in the office began to solidify. She wasn't the new girl anymore, nor was she just the cleaning lady in the eyes of many. Her work ethic, attention to detail, and ability to handle even the most complex tasks caught the attention of her supervisors. Anna had earned their respect the hard way, but it felt good knowing that her efforts were finally being recognized. There were still moments of doubt, of course. Sometimes, Anna would walk into a meeting or pass by a group of executives and feel like she didn't belong. The imposter syndrome was real, a constant whisper at the back of her mind reminding her of where she came from, of how different she was from everyone else in the room. But Anna had learned to push that voice aside. Every accomplishment, every small victory was a reminder that she did belong, that she had earned her place here. It helped that Mr. Blake, the executive she supported, had grown to trust her completely. He relied on Anna for everything from managing his calendar to coordinating important company-wide initiatives. It was in these moments that Anna truly began to shine. Her ability to juggle multiple responsibilities and anticipate problems before they arose set her apart from others in similar roles. Blake had even started recommending Anna to other department heads when they needed administrative support. One afternoon, Blake called Anna into his office. She could tell something big was brewing just by the look on his face. "Anna, I have a proposition for you," he began, leaning back in his chair. Anna's heart skipped a beat. The last time he had said something like that, she had been tasked with managing a major project timeline, something she had never done before, but had executed flawlessly. "We're about to launch a new initiative, one that will require cross-departmental coordination and strong leadership on the administrative side," he continued. "I'd like you to lead the charge." Anna blinked, unsure if she had heard him correctly. "You want me to lead it?" Blake nodded, his expression serious. "You've proven time and time again that you can handle more than what's on your plate. You know how to navigate this company, and quite frankly, I trust you. This is a big opportunity, Anna. It could put you in a very visible position." Anna felt a mix of excitement and fear swirl inside her. This was what she had been working toward, wasn't it? A chance to prove herself on a larger scale, to show that she wasn't just capable, but indispensable. But the stakes were high, and the pressure of leading a project that would affect multiple departments weighed heavily on her mind. I don't know what to say," Anna stammered, trying to process the magnitude of the offer. "Say yes," Blake said with a smile. "I know you can do this, Anna." After a few moments of contemplation, Anna took a deep breath and nodded. "Yes, I'll do it." The days that followed were some of the most challenging Anna had faced in her career. She was no longer just handling schedules and paperwork. She was leading meetings, managing deadlines, and making decisions that impacted the entire company. There were moments when she felt completely overwhelmed, but each time she hit a wall, she reminded herself of how far she had come. It wasn't just about proving something to others anymore. Anna was proving something to herself. There were days when the workload seemed impossible, when the responsibilities of being a mother and a leader at work collided, leaving her drained. Lucas and Marina noticed the difference at home. Anna was spending longer hours at the office, and though she tried to make time for them, it was clear that the demands of her job were taking a toll. "Mom, you're always so tired," Marina said one night as Anna tucked her into bed. Anna sighed, brushing a strand of hair from her daughter's face. "I know, sweetheart. I'm just working really hard right now. But it won't be like this forever." "But why do you have to work so much?" Marina asked, her voice soft. Anna paused, thinking carefully before answering. "Because I'm trying to build something better for us, for our future. Sometimes, when you want something really important, you have to work harder than you ever thought possible. But I promise, it's going to be worth it." Marina nodded, though Anna could see the confusion in her eyes. It was hard to explain to a child why their mother had to be away so much, but Anna hoped that one day her children would understand. She hoped they would see that everything she was doing was for them. At work, Anna's efforts didn't go unnoticed. The project she led not only stayed on track, but it exceeded expectations. Her ability to manage multiple teams, keep people on task, and solve problems under pressure became the talk of the office. Even some of the co-workers who had once doubted her were now praising her abilities. Blake pulled her aside one day after a particularly successful presentation. "Anna, I just want to say, what you've accomplished here is remarkable. You've set a new standard for how we handle these projects." Anna felt a surge of pride. For the first time in a long time, she wasn't second-guessing herself. She had earned her place, and she was thriving. But with success came new challenges. As Anna's profile within the company grew, so did the expectations. More people were watching her now, and the pressure to continue performing at a high level was intense. Anna knew she couldn't slow down, not now. There was still so much more to achieve. Anna's rise within the company had been faster than anyone expected, including her. What had started as a simple administrative assistant role had quickly evolved into something much more. She was now overseeing major initiatives and even working closely with the executive team on long-term strategies. Every day brought new challenges, and while Anna thrived under pressure, the weight of her responsibilities was growing heavier. The higher Anna climbed, the more she felt the strain of balancing her work life with her family. There were nights when she barely made it home in time to see Lucas and Marina before they went to bed. Her mornings were a blur preparing lunches, getting the kids ready for school, and rushing out the door, hoping she wasn't late for an early meeting. Sometimes, she felt like she was living two separate lives, one as a mother and one as a professional, and neither was getting the attention it deserved. One particularly stressful day, Anna found herself in a tense meeting with the board of directors. The company was facing a critical decision about expanding into a new market, and the pressure was on to present a solid plan. Anna had been working on the project for weeks, coordinating between different departments and ensuring that every detail was accounted for. As the meeting dragged on, Anna could feel the tension rising in the room. Some of the directors were skeptical about the expansion, and the discussions became increasingly heated. Anna did her best to keep the conversation focused, presenting data and projections with confidence, but it was clear that not everyone was on board. At one point, one of the directors, Mr. Howard, turned to Anna with a dismissive tone. "Anna, with all due respect, you've done a good job pulling this together, but maybe we should leave the bigger decisions to the executives with more experience." His words hit Anna like a slap in the face. She had worked tirelessly on this project, putting in countless hours to ensure its success, and yet here she was, being questioned simply because she wasn't part of the inner circle of high-level executives. For a moment, the room went silent. Anna could feel everyone's eyes on her, waiting to see how she would respond. Her heart pounded in her chest, but she refused to let it show. She had faced adversity before, and she wasn't about to let one dismissive comment knock her down. "With all due respect, Mr. Howard," Anna said, her voice steady but firm, "the data we've gathered supports this expansion, and the team has worked hard to ensure that all potential risks have been addressed. I believe this is the right move for the company, and I stand by our recommendation." The room remained quiet for a moment, and then Mr. Blake, who had always been a strong supporter of Anna, spoke up. "I agree with Anna. Her work on this project has been exceptional, and I think we should seriously consider her recommendations." Slowly, the mood in the room shifted. The board continued to debate the issue, but Anna had made her point. She had stood her ground, and she wasn't about to be sidelined just because of her background. After the meeting, Anna returned to her office, feeling a mixture of relief and exhaustion. She had won the battle, but the struggle to prove herself felt never-ending. It was as if, no matter how much she achieved, there would always be someone questioning her right to be in the room. Later that evening, as Anna was packing up to leave, Sophia stopped by her office. "I heard about the meeting," she said, leaning against the doorframe. "You handled yourself well, Anna. Not everyone would have had the courage to stand up like that." Anna smiled, though it was a tired one. "Thanks, Sophia. It wasn't easy, but I couldn't let him undermine all the work we've done." Sophia nodded, her expression serious. "You've come a long way, Anna. But remember, the higher you climb, the more people will try to tear you down. You've got to keep pushing." Anna appreciated Sophia's words, but deep down, she wondered how much more she could push. The pressure was starting to take its toll. She loved her job, and she was proud of everything she had accomplished, but there were moments when she missed the simplicity of her old life. Back then, her biggest worry was getting the floors clean before the office opened. Now, she was responsible for decisions that could shape the future of the company. That night, as Anna sat at the kitchen table, reviewing documents for the next day, Lucas approached her with a worried look on his face. "Mom, you're always working," he said softly. "Are you okay?" Anna looked up from her papers, her heart sinking. She hadn't realized how much her work was affecting her kids. "I'm fine, Lucas," she said, though her voice lacked conviction. "I just have a lot on my plate right now." "But you're always tired," he continued. "You never have time to hang out with us anymore." Anna sighed, pushing her papers aside. She hadn't meant for things to get this way. "I know, sweetheart. I'm sorry. It's just work is really demanding right now. But I promise, I'll make more time for you and Marina." Lucas nodded, though Anna could see the doubt in his eyes. She knew it wasn't just about promising to spend more time with them. It was about finding a way to balance her life again, to be the mother her children needed and the professional she had worked so hard to become. The next day, Anna walked into the office with a new resolve. She loved her job, but her family had to come first. It was time to set some boundaries, to find a way to achieve her goals without sacrificing the things that mattered most. After that conversation with Lucas, Anna couldn't stop thinking about how much her work had consumed her life. She had fought so hard to climb the corporate ladder, but in the process, she had distanced herself from the people who mattered most. The following days at work were busy, as usual, but something had shifted in Anna. She was more aware of how much time she was spending at the office, and she started making changes. Anna began by setting boundaries with her work hours. No longer was she staying late into the night, glued to her computer while her children were home without her. She made it a point to leave the office at a reasonable time, even if it meant she had to delegate more tasks or be more efficient during the day. It wasn't easy. There was always something more to do, always a new deadline or an urgent email. But Anna knew that if she didn't make these changes, her personal life would continue to suffer. At home, the changes were immediately noticeable. Lucas and Marina lit up when Anna came home earlier than usual, and the three of them began spending more time together in the evenings. They cooked dinner together, watched movies, and even played board games, something they hadn't done in months. It wasn't a perfect solution. There were still moments when work interrupted, and Anna would have to step away to handle a crisis, but the balance she was trying to create was starting to take shape. One Friday evening, after a long week of meetings and reports, Anna was sitting on the couch with Marina, watching a movie, when her phone buzzed. It was an email from Mr. Blake, marked urgent. For a moment, Anna's instinct was to reach for her phone and open the email immediately. But then she looked at Marina, curled up next to her, her eyes fixed on the screen. Anna hesitated. The email could wait. This was one of the hardest lessons Anna had to learn, to trust that the world wouldn't fall apart if she didn't respond to every work crisis immediately. Over time, she grew more comfortable with delegating tasks to her team and empowering them to solve problems without her constant oversight. She had built a strong reputation within the company, and now it was time to rely on the team she had helped develop. At work, Anna's new approach didn't go unnoticed. Her colleagues, who had seen her pushing herself to the brink for so long, were surprised to see her leaving the office earlier and taking more time for herself. But the results of her work spoke for themselves. Projects continued to be completed on time, deadlines were met, and the quality of her contributions remained high. One day, Sophia pulled Anna aside in the hallway. "You seem different lately," Sophia said with a curious smile. "It's like you finally found your groove." Anna chuckled, shaking her head. "I think I've just realized that work can't be everything. I love what I do, but I can't keep sacrificing my family for it." Sophia nodded, her expression thoughtful. "That's a lesson a lot of people never learn. You're doing the right thing, Anna." As the weeks passed, Anna became more adept at balancing her professional responsibilities with her role as a mother. She felt lighter, more present, and more in control of her life. And while the challenges at work didn't disappear, they no longer felt as overwhelming. With the support of her team and the trust she had built with her superiors, Anna was able to manage the demands of her role without feeling like she was drowning. It wasn't long before Anna's success in her role led to another opportunity, one that would challenge her in new and exciting ways. One afternoon, while Anna was reviewing a report in her office, Mr. Blake came by to see her. "Anna, do you have a minute?" he asked, leaning against the doorframe. "Of course," Anna replied, setting aside the report and gesturing for him to sit. Blake sat down and folded his hands in his lap. "There's been a lot of talk among the executive team lately," he began, his tone serious but kind. "They've been incredibly impressed with the way you've handled the projects over the past year. Your ability to manage, lead, and bring people together is exactly what we need in leadership." Anna blinked, unsure of where he was going with this. "Thank you, Mr. Blake. I'm just doing my best." Blake smiled. "And your best is exactly why we want to promote you. The company is expanding, and we're creating a new senior management position to oversee all administrative functions across multiple departments. I want you to step into that role, Anna." For a moment, Anna was speechless. This was the opportunity of a lifetime, the kind of role that would put her on the path to even greater leadership within the company. It was a chance to prove herself on an even larger scale. But along with the excitement came the realization that this would bring even more responsibility. Could she maintain the balance she had worked so hard to achieve? I don't know what to say," Anna stammered, her mind racing. "Say yes," Blake said with a smile. "You've earned this, Anna, and I know you can handle it." Anna thought about everything she had been through, the struggles, the sacrifices, and the victories. She had fought hard to get to where she was, and now another door was opening. But this time, she knew that stepping through it didn't have to mean losing herself in the process. After a moment of silence, Anna nodded, a smile spreading across her face. "Yes," she said, her voice steady. "I'll take the position." Anna's promotion to senior management was met with a wave of excitement among her colleagues. She was now officially recognized as a key player in the company's future, and the role came with the authority to shape policies, streamline processes, and mentor those who were eager to grow within the organization. The weight of the responsibility felt both thrilling and daunting. As she settled into her new role, Anna quickly realized that her experience as a cleaning staff member had uniquely prepared her for this moment. She understood the inner workings of the company from the ground up, and her ability to connect with employees at all levels was a significant asset. Whether it was engaging with junior staff during a casual coffee break or strategizing with executives in high-stakes meetings, Anna felt empowered to bridge the gap between different departments and perspectives. Her first major initiative was to implement a new mentoring program that paired seasoned executives with younger employees looking to advance their careers. Anna had seen the benefits of mentorship firsthand during her rise within the company and knew how transformative a little guidance could be. She spent weeks designing the program, conducting surveys to understand what employees wanted and needed, Anna believed that her initiative would foster a culture of support and growth, ultimately leading to increased employee satisfaction and retention. When she presented the plan to the executive team, the room was filled with nods of agreement. Blake's smile of approval as he glanced at her reassured Anna that she was on the right track. Once the program launched, Anna witnessed something magical unfold. Employees began to forge connections they hadn't made before, sharing their experiences, challenges, and aspirations. She felt a surge of pride as she watched junior staff flourish under the guidance of their mentors. The program breathed new life into the company culture, and for the first time in a long while, Anna felt like she was making a real impact. Yet, even with all the progress, Anna knew that challenges would always arise. One afternoon, she received an email that shook her to the core. A high-profile client was threatening to pull their contract due to dissatisfaction with the service provided. Panic rippled through the office as Anna called an emergency meeting with her team. As she looked around the room, she saw anxious faces, people who had poured their hearts into their work. In that moment, Anna knew she had to be the anchor. "Okay, everyone," she began, her voice steady but filled with urgency. "We need to regroup and figure out how to address this issue head-on. Our clients trust us, and it's our job to make this right." The team rallied together, brainstorming solutions and crafting a plan to rectify the situation. Anna facilitated discussions, encouraged open dialogue, and empowered her team to take ownership of the issue. It was a long night, but their collective effort paid off. They drafted a comprehensive response to the client, outlining the steps they would take to improve their service and address specific concerns. The next morning, as Anna nervously awaited the client's response, she couldn't help but feel a sense of pride in her team. They had come together under pressure, proving their dedication and resilience. When the email finally arrived, Anna held her breath as she opened it. The client appreciated the proactive approach and agreed to give them a second chance, with a clear outline of their expectations moving forward. Anna couldn't contain her relief and joy. She gathered her team together and shared the news. Cheers erupted in the room, and Anna felt a rush of gratitude for the support and hard work everyone had put in. That evening, as she returned home to her family, Anna felt a renewed sense of purpose. The balance she had been striving for was no longer a distant dream. It was a reality. She had proven to herself that it was possible to excel in her career without sacrificing her role as a mother. The lessons she had learned along the way had shaped her into a better leader, a better employee, and a better parent. At dinner, Lucas and Marina were excited to hear about her day. Anna shared stories about the mentorship program and the client situation, and their eyes widened with interest. "Wow, Mom, you really are a superhero," Marina exclaimed, and Anna couldn't help but laugh. "Just doing my best," she said, smiling at her children. "But remember, I'm not a superhero. I'm just someone who worked really hard to get where I am. And if I can do it, so can you." That night, as Anna tucked her kids into bed, she reflected on her journey. She thought about the struggles she had faced, the sacrifices she had made, and the victories she had celebrated. Each step had brought her closer to the woman she was becoming. And while the road ahead would undoubtedly present new challenges, Anna felt ready to face them with determination and grace. As she settled into bed, Anna couldn't help but feel a sense of gratitude for everything in her life. She had turned her dreams into reality, and now she was not only a leader in her company, but also a role model for her children. The journey was far from over, but with every challenge she overcame, she became more confident in her ability to navigate whatever came next. Tomorrow would bring new opportunities and new obstacles, but Anna knew she was equipped to handle them. And with that thought, she drifted off to sleep, ready to embrace the adventures that awaited her.